All right, how about the potential of Gabbert taking over for the GOAT? From Tom Brady to Blaine Gabbert. Could be the case in Tampa with Brady's retirement. Gabbert being a veteran on the roster, just 13-35 as an NFL starter, but Bruce Arians saying, quote, people might not like the overall record, but Blaine had 8 head coaches and 8 coordinators in his first 8 years. He's been in the system now. I don't have a problem there. And let Kyle Trask, continue to grow. Either one. Gabbert has never played with a team this good. He's got all the respect in the locker room that he can have. All right, let's bring in Pete Prisco. And Pete, you were in Jacksonville where he started 27 games, and I see the wry smile and the shake of the head. You buying him as a starter for the Bucs?
Look, I thought Blaine Gabbert was going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I really did. And he came into a bad situation. But no, I don't think he's going to be the starter at Tampa Bay unless they get stuck. I think they're going to explore all options to try and get a quarterback, whether that's a big name in a trade or if somebody's released. I just don't see him being the starting quarterback. One thing about Blaine Gabbert, and Bruce Arians is right, he's never played with a good team. But the problem isn't that, it's consistency from play to play. There are plays, Blaine Gabbert will make a play that looks like he's the next star in waiting. And then he'll make 2 or 3 bad plays where he throws to guys on defense and puts it right in their stomach. So I don't think the consistency is there. I like Blaine Gabbert. I think he's a heck of a backup. I just don't see him being their starter next year.
Has not started a game since the 2018 season when he was a member of the Titans. He started games for 4 different teams. The Bucs not one of them, not yet. Pete, one of our NFL writers on CBSSports.com, Cody Benjamin, has an article on the site, and he lists 8 star players who should be traded this offseason. And most of them are quarterbacks, from Russell Wilson to Matt Ryan to Jimmy G. Let's start with Garoppolo, who appears to be the most likely player on the trade market. Do you think that is a must to trade him, and what could you get for him?
Would I trade him? Probably not. I don't think Trey Lance is ready, but I understand where they're at. They traded up to go get Trey Lance. And so I think they can plug him in. They think they can plug him in there and get him going with a full off season and the ability to learn the offense. So I understand why. I wouldn't trade him. I'd play Jimmy Garoppolo one more year, but he will be traded. And where does he go? I think there's some interesting, possibilities. I think when you look at Washington, I think that's a possibility. They have to upgrade their quarterback position. I think Pittsburgh is a possibility. And if I were Tampa, I'd explore Jimmy Garoppolo because I think he's better than Blaine Gabbert. So I do think he will be traded, though.
Yeah, a guy that we think is going to be moving on and could help some teams, but there's one big name on this list, and that's Russell Wilson. Still has 2 years left on his contract. He's getting up there now. He'll turn 34 next season, but he appears to be the guy that if you could go out and get him, you might have a feeling that you could do a Matthew Stafford type deal and make a run to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I think ideally Russell Wilson wants to be traded. I mean, there's talk that he's, nosing around with other teams privately, obviously, if that's tampering, and he would like to be traded. But are the Seahawks going to trade him? I don't think they will. I think they're going to hold true. I think Pete Carroll's there. He wants to take another run at it with Russell Wilson. And in the end, I think he's the starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. If he were to be traded, obviously he's a guy that if you bring him into your organization, it automatically changes the dynamic of and feel of that team. And I'll give you an example. Could you imagine Russell Wilson with the Steelers? I mean, they would automatically be in contention for not only that division, but I think for the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I could see him being traded. In the end, I don't think he does get traded.
It might have the biggest price tag of all these guys if you do go after him, you would think. And he has the biggest price tag as far as what you'll have to pay him as well. Ryan Tannehill, kind of a similar situation because he turns 34 this summer. He also has 2 years left on his contract. Pete, he's due almost $40 million this season. He'll be the 5th highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he doesn't play to that, but that just happens to be how the thing works out when you decide to give a guy an extension. So, yeah, he's overpaid for what he provides for that team. But if you get rid of him, what are you doing? And this is a team that when Derrick Henry's on the field, Ryan Tannehill's a capable quarterback. He's never going to carry the team on his right arm, but he's more than capable of making plays when the run game is working and he has the guys outside. Remember, they had a ton of issues with their outside receivers during the season as well, which really limited what they can do in the passing game. So I don't think he's going to be traded, but that price tag is hefty, and if somebody would take that off your hands, you'd have to consider it.
Titans had the 1 seed in the AFC last season, but couldn't do anything with it in the postseason. Let's move to another quarterback who our Cody Benjamin thinks should be traded this offseason. And Pete, that's Matt Ryan, a former MVP who should have a Super Bowl ring, but doesn't. Turns 37, and it's an interesting decision because if you keep Matt Ryan, you feel like you have a chance to win that division with Sean Payton gone and Tom Brady gone.
Well, yeah, not only that, Tom Brady gone, so you got to get a new quarterback there, but so do the Saints. What are they going to do at quarterback? Is Jameis Winston coming back? They don't know. And what about Carolina? They don't have a quarterback either. So if you keep Matt Ryan, you have a leg up on everybody in the division because you actually have your guy. And so I don't think they will trade him. I think it would be great for Matt Ryan if he were able to finish his career in Atlanta. One thing they have to do is protect the guy. I mean, you look across the board, they've used a bunch of draft picks to upgrade that offensive line over the last 4 years, and they haven't, fixed it. And that's a problem. He takes way too many shots. So, no, do I think he's going to get traded? I think he's going to be the quarterback of the Falcons, and they have a legitimate chance to win a division.
Okay, another player on Cody Benjamin's list of guys who he thinks should be traded this offseason, Saquon Barkley. Now, his value, I don't know that it's ever been lower at this point with the injuries. Is there more value in trying to keep him and see what potential he can fulfill?
Yeah, and I think that's what they'll do. I mean, you look at this guy, he's been, he's coming off those injuries, and he's now starting to look like he's getting back to where he was before the injury. And so I would bring him back. And you know me, I'm not one of those guys that would ever trade for a veteran running back, and I wouldn't trade for a veteran running back who has knee issues. And so if I'm the Giants, I think I keep him. You got a new coach. Let's see what he can do. And if he doesn't do anything this year, then you move on from him after this season. But I think Barkley will be with the Giants this season.
Okay, one more player we're going to hit on here that could potentially be traded this postseason. Not in Cody Benjamin's article, but you want to hit on Kyler Murray, who has voiced his displeasure with the Arizona Cardinals on social media of late.
Yeah, and look, here's a guy that he's not happy with the organization, and quite frankly, I hear the organization isn't happy with him. And this is a big year for him. We said that last year. We said it would be a big year for Kyler Murray. It would be a big year for Cliff Kingsbury. They started out great, but he got hurt. He's little. He continues to get hurt, and it's the second straight year. He didn't play the same down the stretch for the second straight year, so there's always a concern. So if you got a blockbuster offer, why not? Why not explore it? Maybe, he always hangs his head on that baseball situation as well, which is one of those threats that he makes that he could always go play baseball. I think his being disgruntled is more about getting a new contract, but if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, they have to ask themselves, can you win it all with Kyler Murray playing quarterback? And I think that question is still left unanswered.
Yeah, all right. Pete Prisco here on stars that could be traded this postseason in the NFL. You can hear Pete occasionally on the Pick Six podcast. Will Brinson, always there. He's a constant. The very latest episode, he's with John Breach, and they break down their top 25 free agents on offense.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.